Good morning, welcome back to Downing Street Breakfast this morning, live here. About 14 hours ago, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak stood just behind me here. You remember the lectern came out in the pouring rain as he announced there will be a general election on July the 4th. We can join now a slightly drier Prime Minister, hopefully, who joins us from Derbyshire. Very good morning to you, Mr. Sunak. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Can I first ask you, why have you called the general election?
Good morning, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Now.
Well, Charlie, thanks very much for having me, and you're right, it is certainly drier here inside this morning. Now, it's been a difficult few years for the country, and the news that we've had over the last few weeks shows that we have restored economic stability. Inflation now back to normal, the economy growing at a healthy pace, wages have been rising sustainably for months, energy bills coming down, and now is the right moment, therefore, to think about our future and whether we want to build on the progress that we've made and ensure that we can have a secure future for everyone and their families, or we go back to square one with more uncertainty with the Labour Party. Now, I believe that the world is in a more uncertain place than it's been in decades, and that we've got the right plan, that we're prepared to take bold action. That's what my track record says, and that's how we'll deliver a secure future for everyone, their families and our country. That's what this election is about, and that's what I look forward to talking to you and your viewers about over the next few weeks.
A lot of people are suggesting that the real reason you chose to hold the general election sooner rather than later is that you're concerned the inflation figures that you're talking about will rise again before the end of the year, that might look worse. On top of which, your plans in relation to migration, those figures may also look worse as we go into the summer months. That is the real reason.
Well, No, that's not the real reason. And when it comes to the economy, of course I know there's more work to do. I know that people are only just starting to feel the benefits of the changes that we've brought. And for some people, when they look at their bank balance at the end of every month, it will still be difficult. But we have undeniably made progress, and stability has returned. Inflation has returned back to normal. Wages have now been rising for months. We are now growing faster than most of our major competitors. Energy bills are coming down. So that really is progress. There is stability, and that's why we can now think about the future. And in an uncertain world, I believe that I'm the one that's prepared to take bold action, that we've got a clear plan, and that's how we'll deliver a secure future for everyone and their family. And you mentioned migration. If I just touch on that, there's a clear choice at this election. I think illegal migration is unfair. It undermines a sense of fairness that is so central to our character as a country. People coming here, jumping the queue, putting pressure on services, and also endangering their own lives. I've got a clear plan to fix that. It requires bold action, the Rwanda scheme, so that we can return people to a safe third country. And you know what? Just the other week, 15 other European countries all signed a statement saying that they agree that you need solutions like that in order to solve this problem. But there's a choice at this election because Keir Starmer doesn't believe that. He's going to scrap that scheme. So if you want border security, if you want to restore fairness to our migration system, there's a clear choice. I'm the one that's prepared to take bold action. I've got a clear plan, and that's how I'll deliver security for you and your family.
The reality here, if you look at the figures, is in the first 3 months of 2024, there have been 5,435 illegal crossings. That is a new record for January and March. We are coming into the summer months. The reality is that you have not achieved your goals or stopped the boats. That is the reality check.
Well, you've picked a few months to look at. If you look at the last 12 months, or indeed all of last year, what you will see is that the numbers were down by around a third. And that shows that we can make progress on this situation. We sent something like 20,000 people back last year. We've raided more people. Our law enforcement agencies are working incredibly hard. We've got a new operation in the Channel where we're working with the French. All these things are making a difference. We've got a new deal with Albania, so we returned thousands of people there. That shows that deterrence works. But the key thing is here is looking to the future. Who do you trust to solve this problem? As I said, I believe the only way to fully solve this problem is to have a deterrent, to make it crystal clear that if you come to our country illegally, you won't be able to stay, and we'll be able to remove you from a safe third country alternative. It's not just me saying that now. 15 other European countries have all agreed that that is an important part of solving this problem. But the one person who doesn't agree with that is Keir Starmer. And he's going to scrap that scheme and offer instead an amnesty to illegal migrants. It will make us a soft touch of Europe. We'll be a magnet for illegal migrants from everywhere. So look, if you think this issue is important, if you want security for our borders and for our country and for your family, then I'm the one who's prepared to take the bold action necessary to deliver that. I'm the one who's got a clear plan that I'm working to, that I'm going to stick
Prime
to.
Minister,
And that's how we'll deliver that security.
You have said that. Prime Minister, if I may, you may meet someone on the doorstep who will ask you specifically about the Rwanda project. So can you tell us today, on day one of the election campaign, when will the first flight go?
Yeah, I addressed this in detail just a little while ago at a press conference. The first flights will go in July, and we've already put the preparations in place for that. We've hired hundreds of caseworkers, identified the cohort. As people have been watching on their TV screens or on the newspapers, we've already started detaining people. We've hired the escorts. We've got an airfield on standby. We've booked the flights. So all of that work is already ongoing. And then the choice of this election is clear, because if I'm re-elected as Prime Minister on the 5th of July, these flights will go. We will get our Rwanda scheme up and running. We will ensure that we have a deterrent. And that's how we're going to break the cycle of these gangs, make sure it's us who decides who come to our country. And that's an approach that, as I said, 15 other European countries have all now said that they think is an important part of the solution. But if Keir Starmer is Prime Minister, we won't have that programme. We won't have that scheme. We won't have a deterrent. And that just means we won't make any progress. There won't be any change. We won't have security for our country, for our borders, for your family. We won't tackle illegal migration. And that's the choice at this election. On that issue, like so many others, there is a clear difference on offer. I'm the one with a clear plan. I'm the one prepared to take bold action, because I believe in delivering a secure future for you and your family.
Okay, people will not have missed the fact that the date you're talking about is after the general election. But I want to move on to other issues. A moment ago, I think you said that you believe that people at home, and there are people at home watching you right now, are feeling the benefit of your time in office. What evidence do you have for that?
What I said is I think people are only starting to feel the benefits of the changes we've brought to the economy, because it has been an incredibly tough few years. COVID, the pandemic, a war in Ukraine, the impact on energy bills, that's not going to magically change overnight, but we are making progress. And the inflation news is good evidence of that. Inflation back to normal, and actually faster than our major rivals like America, Eurozone. Similarly, our economy growing now again at a healthy pace. Wages have been rising ahead of prices for almost a year now. Energy bills are falling. Look, so those are all signs that our economic plan is working. So the question at this election, I know there's more to do, of course there's more to do to make sure people feel the full benefits of that. But the question going forward is, do we build on that progress? Now that we have this hard-earned economic stability that's taken a lot of hard work and collective sacrifice, do we build on that to deliver even more security for you and your family? Or do we put it all at risk? Go back to square one, because all the Labour Party offers is uncertainty, no plan, no action, and that puts that security that we now have, that stability we now have, at risk. I don't want to see that happen. I want to stick to our plan, continue being bold, and that's how we'll deliver security for people. When it comes to the economy, we've got a plan to cut people's taxes. We've cut them by £900 and raised the state pension by £900 to give people that financial security, to reward their hard work. The Labour Party doesn't believe in those things. It's opposing these tax cuts. There's a very clear difference on offer at this election. Net zero is another area where I want to deliver people's energy security.
Prime Minister,
prioritise
just
their
for a
impact
moment,
on their bills.
I appreciate
Because you're right, the cost of living is important.
On the line
but I'm not going to.
Yeah. We have a delay on the line, so I'm sorry if it's a little awkward with the interruption. I just want to ask you on the tax issue specifically. Your government has been a tax-raising government. That is what you have done. You're talking about a plan for the future. If people are looking at your history as Chancellor and in consecutive Conservative governments is raising taxes, and that is a fact.
My history as Chancellor is making sure that we got the country through one of the most difficult periods in our history, the pandemic. And that's what I did as Chancellor. I stood up and announced a furlough scheme. I made sure that we protected 10 million people's jobs. We got the country through it. We got the NHS through it. We had a vaccine rollout that was fully funded. That's what I did as Chancellor. And again, when the energy crisis hit in Ukraine, I made sure that we stepped in and supported people with their energy bills. That's my record. Those are my values. I will always make sure that we protect people. Those those are once-in-a-century shocks. I think most fair-minded people will accept that, of course, things like that need to be paid for. That's how I had to make difficult decisions. I'm not going to shy away from that. That's what leadership is about. The Labour Party did oppose opportunistically all the difficult decisions I took to get our borrowing and debt back under control, to make sure that we got inflation down. But those were the right decisions that I took for the country, and that's why we now are able to cut people's taxes. And the tax rate for an average earner is at this point now the lowest it's been in decades, because I want to make sure that everyone's hard work is rewarded. Someone on an average earning of £35,000 this year is getting a tax cut worth £900. The state pension is going up by £900. I want to give people financial security. There's a clear difference at this election. I've got a plan that I've been working to. That plan is working. People can see that. I'm prepared to take bold action, even when it's difficult, when I believe it's right for the country. And if we stick with that, I can make sure that everyone has a secure future. They, them families, our country can look forward to a secure future. That's the choice at this election.
If I may, to get through some other issues, let's talk about the NHS, and specifically I'd like you to address the issue of the pledge in 2019 to build 40 new hospitals by 2030. Now, you're asking people to trust you and the Conservative Party on a number of issues, including the NHS. Where are you with that pledge to build 40 new hospitals? Specifically that, if you would.
Yes, we are fully committed to those 40 hospitals. That I haven't got the numbers right in front of me, that I think the majority have already got planning permission. There are spades in the ground. We know where they all are, and we've made sure that we've prioritised those hospitals that were impacted by RAC. But that's just one part of our overall plan for the NHS.
Prime Minister, is will they be built by 2030? I'm sorry,
yes.
Prime Minister,
yes.
I'm going to push you on that specifically.
Yes.
They all will be built by 2030?
Yes. Yes, the hospitals we built. I was just explaining what stage of progress we were on all of them to give people confidence that that's what's going to happen. But my overall point would be, look, I come from an NHS family. My dad was a GP, my mum was a pharmacist. I grew up working in that pharmacy, and we're doing a range of things to make sure people get the care that they need. We've got the first long-term workforce plan in the NHS's history, training more doctors and nurses than we've ever had before. We're making sure pharmacies can do more, important to me personally. So now if you've got a sore throat, an ear infection, you or your kids, you don't have to see your GP. You can go straight to your pharmacist to get that care. We're using innovative ways to bring down the waiting list, which we've seen now, which after a difficult year last year, I admit that, with all the strikes, the waiting lists have now come down by around 200,000, and if it wasn't for the strikes, they would have come down by around almost 500,000 more. So we are making progress there too. And of course, I know when I was on your show previously, we talked about my plans to bring in a smoke-free generation, ending the biggest cause of death, disability and ill health in our country. And that's, again, evidence that I'm prepared to take bold action. I've got a clear plan that I'm going to stick to, because that's how we deliver better security for our country.
I would like to ask you about your comments about Sir Keir Starmer. You said he has no conviction, no courage, and no plan. Now, some people are suggesting that you are prepared in this general election to make it very personal between you and Sir Keir Starmer. Is that something you're prepared to do?
I want to talk about the issues, as we've been doing on this show, and I welcome the opportunity. I want to talk about who's got the best plan to solve illegal migration, who's got a plan to ensure people's energy security and not pursue net zero in an ideological way that's going to put pressure on their bills, who's got a plan to cut people's taxes to reward their hard work and give them financial security, who's prepared to take bold action to ensure that our country is safe in the most uncertain of times, as we do with our plans to raise defence spending, who's got a plan to reform our welfare system to support people into work and make it sustainable and make it fair. Those are the issues that I want to be talking about. And on all those issues, I am clear in saying I don't know what Keir Starmer believes. I don't think anyone knows, because he changes his mind the whole time. He's had 4 years to think about what he wants to do with the country, but he can't tell you what he's going to do on those key issues. And where he has said something, he changes his mind the next day. And if you don't have the courage to tell the country what your plan is, what do you want to do if you get this incredible job of being Prime Minister, then I don't think that it's right that you can lead, particularly at such an uncertain time. And that's what I would do. People can judge me by my record. I have been prepared time and time again to do what I think is right for our country, even when it's difficult. Right? That requires an ability to take bold action. It requires an ability to stick to a plan, even when it's tough. And as we've seen, with inflation returning back to normal, economic stability returning, that plan is working. And now we can build on that progress and deliver everybody a secure future for themselves, for their families, for our country. That's what I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks talking about.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, we appreciate your time this morning on day one of the election campaign, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Look forward to coming back.